Hey everyone, welcome to Love Your Body podcast. I'm so excited for everything just going on here lately. Like I know I say it every time, but I really am. It's just been epic. And I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has been supportive, who has been buying Fight in stores from me, website, everything. I want to give a huge shout out to Austin Halsey with NutriFit, who has helped me with that and that partnership to allows me to find my vision with that and to hopefully bring you guys some cool surprises coming up soon. So I'm really excited about that I'll be announcing. So make sure to stay tuned. Again, we've talked about we have the Music Fit Expo coming up June 18th. Really excited about that. Make sure to get your tickets at the Music Expo Fit Expo on Instagram, or you can go to my profile and find it as well. Guys, for me, today I really want to just talk about, you know, in terms of I've been trying to keep you guys updated with the bodybuilding, everything just from the workshop that I did and from, the eating and just all the stuff on my stories. And if you follow along on my stories or TikTok or whatever, you kind of see and get a glimpse of things. But, I want to let you know that the biggest reason I wanted to do this show was not to get up on stage and be in a bikini and show everybody my booty and and be like, hey, here's my legs, like what's up. The whole reason I wanted to do this was because I was a strong woman competitor. Okay. And I was really good at it. Like, I'm not ashamed to say that. I'm not like, I'll battle anybody if they want to talk about it. Like, I loved it. I was naturally good at it. That is where I felt my most fulfilled. I felt strong. I felt sexy. I felt everything I ever wanted to feel in my life, like what I had been searching for my entire life from being in college and teaching classes and, becoming a personal trainer to going to Vermont and being alone essentially up there, helping women, on their journeys and then coming to Franklin and kind of feeling less than. And like, I mean, there were so many things and then not knowing how to work out and doing online plans and not having a trainer and, just all these things that I finally felt like, man, and I will always cherish and remember those times of driving up to Nashville, doing classes and doing sessions with Matt like 3 times a week, lifting heavy all the time. I mean, body breaking down like hardcore, okay? And now let me just tell you, like, I had a lot of muscle and everything anyway, but, but I, was just it felt like I was, like, torn up, all right? If you ever saw me, I mean, you knew, like, my back was killing me, my legs killing me, whatever, 'cause I was lifting a immense amount of weights on a regular basis, and multiple times a week and then strongman Sundays with Blake and all them. And so it was a community and I finally found that and felt so successful in it. It was cool to be like one of the first girls, was me and Blake who, did this and excelled it. And, now you have a bunch of women doing strongman and a bunch of, different bodies and stuff. And it was so cool. And so I fell in love with it. And there was something that told me in my heart that said, "This is it." And that was at my, last nationals I went to in 2019, and in 2020, I did a competition, in January of 2020, and my vertebrae slipped forward, crushed my disc, and my left leg went numb, and I still to this day have issues feeling it. I have done all the PT. I have worked with the best doctors, to talk to them about, like, not surgery and things, but there's other things that I probably could do, like, I don't know, stem cell research and all this stuff and whatever. But point being that, you know, I fell in love with it. I found my calling, and then it felt like it was taken away. I'm sure at some point in your life you have found or felt that way too. And that is, with it was something, whether it was a job, a relationship, whatever, a fitness goal as well, fitness, competitor, maybe you competed in college or whatever, professional football player, like whoever you are listening. It's just like, it is so traumatic. And people wonder why people hold on to like the glory days. And I always used to kind of like make fun of those guys, like, oh yeah, I used to like bench 500 and, and they would talk to me in the gym and not make fun of them out openly, but just in my head. But then I remember and be like, you know what? Like that must have been such a cool accomplishment for them. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna be 45 and still tell people that I lifted that 500-pound tire. Like it's just gonna be a part of me. So because it was such a feat of strength. So I get it and I understand it. And young people probably around me won't and won't understand. But when you feel like that's taken away, I mean, it just your identity can get lost. You feel lost. And if you've been watching my videos, you've kind of seen this transformation, this evolution of me getting back to not like where I was before, because I never feel like you're trying to get back to where you were before, or fit in the sizes that you were in before. I never look at it like that. But more back to my best self and just innately like who I am as a person. And when I think about that, it makes me excited. It makes me happy because you can tell in my pictures, like my smile is coming back and I'm not crying as often anymore because of the pain and like, with dealing with a loss. Like I'm not in a abusive relationship anymore. And there's just all these really great positive things that, but with that, has led me to now down this path because I thought, what could I do that I could still get that competitiveness out in me, still lift, but like safely and do like different modalities, right? And really, it was a friend who had said something about my legs and we're like, that there's this wellness division in bodybuilding. And I was like, I have no idea what that means. Like, that's probably not for me. And it was again, like just like strawman, Matt saying, hey, you're really strong, right? So it was someone planting that seed. And this is what I want Dani D Fitness to be for all of you is that planting that seed that like, oh my gosh, like I can love my body too. I can be a strong woman too. I can be a you know, awesome just person in general, like, whatever, right? Like, that you look up to or you're inspired by or why you're listening to this podcast or whatever in general. It's just one of those things where it takes is just one person saying something to just change your whole mindset. And at that moment, that was in January of 2021 that happened where that person had said that to me. It wasn't until 6 months later that I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna get a coach and another coach, to help me with to help me with some, food and everything." But I knew the coach was a bodybuilding coach, so I was kinda like on the edge of like, "Well, if I wanna do it, if I like these workouts, I'm like, let's maybe go from there," right? So I eased my way into it. Wasn't until about December, middle December, or I would say January, where I was like, "I'm not gonna drink anymore. I'm gonna really focus on my food. I'm gonna hone in on this because I would like to do a show this coming summer or fall or whatever." So June or August. And so I started with really honing in on it. And he was like, okay, let's do it. And so it wasn't, like I said, what's the word? It was, me redirecting, okay, my path. And I feel like there was a reason for that. Like God had redirected me from where I was going from. I was lifting heavy all the time and stuff like that. And, I look at it as like it was a curse kind of thing, but maybe it's a blessing. Maybe I can still walk today and I wouldn't have been able to if I would have kept going, and that's a very real reality. And so that would be, awful. And I just, I mean, so I'm super grateful. And every time I do movement, that's why I take all my videos. That's why I take my pictures because I never know when my last workout could be my last. And like, I need to knock on wood or something, but like that's serious for me because it almost was taken away. And I almost don't feel like I appreciated it as much. So now I really try to go back and really try to appreciate time in and time again, like about what I am, what I'm doing. Even if it's just like a mini workout, like I'm appreciating it, loving it, posting about it, and like keep on going. So because I look back at these videos, I watch them and I see them and they inspire me and they remind me of, you know, all the hard work and how and honestly it helps me to like stay on the stairmaster because I'm watching the videos. I'm like, well, that sucked way more than this. So I'm gonna keep going, right? And you just put things in perspective. So so with the show, not that I have to defend myself or whatever, but I want to explain. It is not just good because I'm my size that I'm going up there. Like when you say a comment, this has been said to me before, like, "Oh, it'll just be great for you to get up on stage." They probably meant it well, and they probably didn't mean anything by it. But that's not something that I really want to hear or care to hear anymore because I am competitive and I do believe in myself and I work really hard. And I feel like I look great and I am fit and I've always been fit, no matter what if I was 30 pounds heavier or what or excuse me, 20 pounds lighter. And it's just one of those things where it just really is something that is crazy to me is like I'm finally starting to see all these like crazy changes and whatever. But like the goal for me with this is not to just look like something on stage, but to or like look a certain type of way on stage, but to mentally, physically, spiritually be aligned. Okay. So if I look back at this and I tell myself, if I look back at this and I tell myself that, man, you did this the right way. You were focused, you gave it your all, you fought for what you wanted. you got all your movement in. You really worked hard on the food to not overeat and to just stick to a plan, which shows discipline. People like hate on diets, quote unquote, all the time or whatever. But like I'm doing this in a healthy way. So there's that. But two, like there is nothing more fulfilling than ending your day and being like, man, I crushed my workout. I crushed the food that I was supposed to have in that day, that daily allowance of macros, right? And I feel really good. Like, it's so rewarding. And people look back at it like it's like a bad thing that you shouldn't be on a plan or you shouldn't whatever. And I'm like, honestly, that may work for y'all's bodies, but that doesn't work for me. Like, I remember being on a cycle bike. I was teaching cycling and I was teaching like 5 hours a day classes in at UT. And I remember this man who was a trainer there, and he had said to me something along the lines of, I told him, I said, dude, I just feel like I'm getting like bigger. Like my legs are just like getting bigger, like not in a good way. Like they're gaining more body fat. He's like, well, that doesn't make sense because you're doing weightlifting and you're cycling, you're really active and whatever. And he didn't even think to say, oh, but are you overeating or even ask that? Which again, I don't know how I would have taken that at the time, but because I really probably didn't even understand that I was yet at that point. But because I became a group fitness instructor first and then got my nutrition in line. So it was always the movement first, then nutrition. And so for me, it was one of those of like, when he said that, it's like he just didn't understand or whatever. And now I mean, I really resonate with my clients because they've said that before too. They feel like they're just getting bigger and like more mass and not like leaning out. And a lot of times when you lift weights, people think like, oh, it's because I'm lifting weights, I'm bulking, quote unquote. But like that's not what's happening. When your food is not on point with what you're doing, your exercise, your body is storing more body fat. And so again, there you're just holding on to it and like you may feel like you're getting bigger because you might be gaining muscle, but it's almost to the point of like if you keep eating or overeating, then like it's not really working in the way that your body is designed for, right? And again, everyone's body is different, but for me especially, like I have a hard time like digesting like fat, and it's just crazy. And even with carbs, like my cycle will like if I go eat a large pizza right now and have like an ice cream or something like that, right? Like guarantee you I will be on my cycle tomorrow. And I really want to talk to someone about this because I don't understand why that happens, like an influx of carbs. So if you know anybody or if y'all have had this happen, please reach out to me on Instagram. I would really like to know. But it's super annoying because we did that with strongman. We would refuel, eat these big meals, and then I would go compete. And the next day I'm freaking on my cycle, not feeling good, back's aching, like bloated, like gross. Like it was so annoying, right? So again, my body just acts in like super weird ways with stuff. And I mean, and like for me, when people say like I don't get to have an allowance of things like a lot of people do. Like a cheat for me, like a meal is just more protein and more rice. Like it's not like a crazy, you go out and like, just like crush all this food, whatever, and you go back and go get a good lift in the next day because my body still doesn't understand. Like it still wants to, from all those years, of me overeating and sitting and whatever, it wants me to, not really sitting, but you know what I'm saying, like not weightlifting. It doesn't want me to, doesn't want to change. And so I really with this would love to get to the point where my body has a great maintenance level. Like metabolic rate is up, lean muscle mass is just like killer, and like it's just one of those like I feel really good all the time. That is what I would love to do because now that my leg is getting better, and my back is in less pain every day it's in less pain, which is great. And I feel stronger. Like I want my body to align with how I'm feeling. And I know that with the proper nutrition, like it is coming together. And with the mental aspect of being more positive, that it's coming together and not letting so much stress and negativity get to me and kind of letting it roll off the shoulder. Like things don't have to be perfect. Like there's so many things that this show that I'm just telling you has taught me. And I haven't even done it yet. And that's what a healthy lifestyle journey is, and that's what's beautiful about it is, you may not have a show that you're preparing for, but like life is what you're preparing for and being your healthiest. And, and like I'll say this real quick, but like sometimes I get down, because with the show and stuff, I've heard things of like, oh, like, just like different comments and whatever. And I again try to let it roll off my shoulder and whatnot. Um, but I feel like I work so hard just in every aspect of my life to promote this idea that we can genuinely be a society that yes, we have eyes, we have ears or whatever. Like, so we see and we talk to these people and whatever, and we're attracted to them, based off of that. But that you can truly not judge somebody by the way that they look, like how they would get their movement in. You know what I'm saying? Like you would like again, you would look at them from a blank slate. Like everyone is different. Like at the end of the day, like if you're 300 pounds or you're 100 pounds, I give the exact same assessment to every single one of my clients that come through the door. Okay. Whether they've been a trainer before or not, they do the same movements for their first session. So I can see where their strengths are, their weaknesses are, and how their body moves. And again, if I was stereotypical, I would say, well, obviously, the 300-pound person can't do this move or this move, right? No, you don't know. You don't know how their core is just because they don't have a six pack. Like you don't know where their strength lies. Like, it's just, again, I want to get to the point where you feel like at every gym you go in that you can just be and you can just have this mentality of fight for what you want, love your body, get your movement in and embrace it and not hate on yourself so much because it's almost like, okay, people have to go to therapy, then they have to go to the gym, and then they have to go to this and they have to go to that. It's like I want the whole luxury experience. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things where like even with fight, like a lot of my clients were not taking their vitamins and they were just drinking bad energy drinks, stuff like that. So I'm like, here, have the equivalent of a cup of coffee of energy, right? With vitamins, mix it together. This is your drink, one scoop right there. That's your daily dose of vitamins and your energy for the day. Nailed it. Like simplifying life, not over, just being just over complicating things. So I really want to stress in this Love Your Body season that this show is so much bigger than just, like I said, it's so much bigger than me just getting up there and looking pretty and like feeling sexy and feeling strong. Like all those things are great too. And I'm excited. And I got my my practice suit and my spray tan booked and all these things. And it is something that is now becoming my outlet. And that's important for people to have. That's important for a trainer to have. That's important for a person, a female, all these things, especially like a previous athlete to have. And so I appreciate your support in it. No matter if it's not for you or if it is, doesn't matter because it's something that I'm falling in love with and it's something that I feel good about. And, and I may never do it again after this show and that might be the end of it. But at least I can say that I did it and I gave it my all, and I overcome some very serious things that I've been working through these past 2 years with the injury and the loss and everything, and that is what makes it so special. So never forget when you get so, in the monotonous, the mundane about like, "Ugh, my workout and this and that, whatever." You get to work out. You get to love your body. Like, you get to, you know, just be able to focus on fighting for what you want and embracing this journey. So, never forget that and just keep things in perspective, guys. Until next time.